When we think of farming, we often picture cows in wide green pastures or rows of corn stretching to the horizon. But there's another side to agriculture that's quietly reshaping the global food system, one that blends ancient practices with cutting-edge innovation. Welcome to the world of deer farming. In New Zealand alone, over 45 million pounds of venison are produced each year, with more than 90% exported to high-demand markets in Europe and North America. And it's not just the meat that's drawing global attention. In China, the production of velvet antlers has surpassed 10 million pounds annually, satisfying over 70% of global demand for this valuable health product. Venison is leaner than beef, packing up to 50% less fat, and velvet antlers are prized for their medicinal properties, especially in Asia. But this industry isn't just about the products. It's about the process. From breed selection and animal welfare to space optimization, hygiene, and climate adaptation, deer farming is becoming a model for sustainable, high-efficiency agriculture. This is more than just a trend, it's a transformation. With the help of modern science and global trade networks, deer farms have evolved into high-tech hubs of protein production, delivering everything from gourmet burgers to pharmaceutical-grade antlers. In this video, we're going to explore what makes this industry so unique. What breeds are best suited for different regions? How do farmers manage animal health and maximize productivity? What technologies are pushing the boundaries of what's possible in agriculture? Before we begin, don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you won't miss our next exciting videos. If you enjoy this video and its topic, comment with the number 1. We'll make more videos like this. And if you didn't like the content, feel free to comment with the number 2. To understand why deer farming is quietly becoming one of the most dynamic sectors in modern agriculture, we have to start at the source: the animals themselves. Not all deer are created equal when it comes to farming. In fact, the choice of breed can determine everything from meat yield to velvet antler quality to resilience in harsh climates. Take the red deer, for example. These majestic animals have become a cornerstone of the industry in New Zealand and across much of Europe. Fully grown, a male red deer can weigh around 330 pounds, the size of a small grand piano, and their muscular build translates directly into high-yield, high-quality meat. But it's not just about size. Red deer are known for their remarkable adaptability to rugged natural environments, making them ideal for pasture-based systems in hilly or temperate regions. Then there's the white-tailed deer, the dominant species in North America's deer farming scene, especially in the United States. In cold northern states like Minnesota, these animals demonstrate an astonishing winter survival rate of 95%, more than double the average of other breeds. Their reproductive performance is equally impressive. A single doe can give birth to 2 or even 3 fawns each year, helping farmers rapidly scale their herds without costly interventions. And in Asia, the sika deer holds a very different kind of value. While not as large as their red deer cousins, sikas are highly prized for their velvet antlers. These antlers, harvested before they calcify, contain roughly 20% more active nutrients than those of red deer, making them the top choice for pharmaceutical use in countries like China, Japan, and South Korea. This brings us to the economics of the industry, which are nothing short of extraordinary. The global market for velvet antlers is now valued at over $1 billion a year. These aren't just ornamental trophies, they're functional ingredients in health supplements, traditional medicine, and performance-enhancing tonics. Each adult deer can produce 2 to 3 pounds of velvet antler annually, with a single harvest yielding between $400 and $600 on the international market. For many farmers, that income rivals or even surpasses what they earn from the meat itself. And the meat, too, is no small player. New Zealand alone exports more than 16.5 million pounds of venison each year, feeding demand across Europe, North America, and growing markets in Asia. In a country with a population of just over 5 million people, this scale of production speaks volumes about the efficiency and focus of the industry. For New Zealand, venison isn't just another protein, it's a premium export product, a key part of the nation's agricultural identity. Behind this economic success is a surprisingly advanced and humane processing system. When it comes to velvet antlers, for example, animal welfare is paramount. farmers are trained to administer anesthesia before harvesting, ensuring that the deer experience no pain or trauma. The antlers are then carefully removed using precision tools designed to protect the soft, developing tissue underneath. Immediately after removal, the velvet is transferred to cold storage, often within just 2 hours, to lock in freshness and preserve its bioactive compounds for pharmaceutical-grade processing. This attention to detail, from genetic selection to ethical treatment to post-harvest handling, is what sets deer farming apart. It's not a mass production industry in the traditional sense. It's a carefully managed ecosystem where biology, technology, and global demand converge. And as the market for both venison and velvet antlers continues to grow, the importance of understanding these breeds and what they bring to the table has never been greater. Deer farming at its core is a practice of balance, balancing nutrition, hygiene, space, and stress to create an environment where animals thrive and farmers succeed. And nowhere is this philosophy more evident than in the daily operations of New Zealand's deer farms. Each morning, long before most people start their day, farmers begin a routine that's equal parts discipline and instinct. They spend over 4 hours tending to their herds, starting with a walk through the pastures to inspect the quality of the fresh grass. This isn't just a casual check. The grass is examined for moisture, length, and nutrient density before it's cut by hand and delivered to feeding enclosures. It's a detail that may seem small, but for deer, it makes a world of difference. The ideal grass length is carefully maintained between 20 and 25 centimeters, short enough to be easily chewed, but long enough to retain its natural moisture and nutrient value. An adult deer consumes between 9 and 11 pounds of this fresh-cut grass every day, roughly the weight of a standard bowling ball. But pasture grass alone isn't enough. To support robust antler growth and maintain overall health, farmers supplement the diet with dry hay, mineral-rich grain, and key nutrients like calcium and phosphorus. These additions help reinforce bone strength and ensure the velvet antlers grow thick, smooth, and commercially viable. Good nutrition, however, is only part of the equation. Equally important is the farm's approach to hygiene. Every day, manure is removed from the enclosures and the ground is sprayed or disinfected to reduce the risk of bacteria buildup. Once a week, fences are checked for damage, repaired, or replaced immediately to prevent escapes or injuries caused by wildlife intrusion. These routines aren't just about appearances. When done consistently, they can cut veterinary costs by as much as 20%, simply by reducing the chances of infection and injury before they occur. Then there's the matter of space. Deer, like people, need room to move freely to stay healthy, both physically and mentally. In New Zealand and Wisconsin, space allocations range from 1,000 to 6,250 square feet per deer, depending on the terrain and herd size. That's roughly the size of a small basketball court per animal. But in places like China, where farmland comes at a premium, farmers often have to work within tighter limits, sometimes just under 1,300 square feet per deer. This means space management must be more strategic, using vertical fencing, rotational grazing, and optimized feeding layouts to keep the animals active and comfortable. Eventually, the farming process meets its most technical phase: processing. At specialized facilities, deer are carefully skinned and singed to remove all traces of fur. The carcasses are then butchered into clean, saleable cuts. On average, an adult deer provides between 60 and 80 pounds of boneless meat. That's enough to make roughly 320 medium-sized burgers from a single animal, each one the result of months of precision care, diet, and attention to stress reduction. From field to facility, every step in deer farming is built around one guiding principle: low stress equals high quality. Whether it's a clean shelter, balanced diet, or spacious enclosure, the goal is always the same: treat the animals well, and the results will follow. In an age where health-conscious eating meets global culinary curiosity, venison has carved out a space that few other meats can occupy. Its appeal begins with nutrition. Compared to traditional red meats like beef or pork, venison contains up to 50% less fat. In just 3.5 ounces, or about 100 grams, you get a powerful 26 grams of protein with only 2 grams of fat. That's a rare combination in the world of meat: lean, high protein, and clean burning for the body. It's little wonder that venison has become a go-to choice for athletes, dieters, and anyone looking to cut excess fat without sacrificing flavor or substance. But beyond the numbers, what truly elevates venison is the way it adapts to local culinary traditions around the world. In Europe, it holds deep roots in the cultural and seasonal rhythms of the table. French kitchens transform venison into rich, slow-cooked stews, while German households prepare it as hearty roasts, often flavored with juniper, wine, and autumn vegetables. In these settings, venison is more than just meat. It's a celebration of the forest and the harvest season. Across the Atlantic, American chefs are putting a modern twist on this ancient protein. Venison burgers are no longer just a novelty at hunting lodges, they're featured on gourmet menus, often paired with aged cheese or caramelized onions. Some high-end restaurants have gone even further, offering venison carpaccio or sushi, using the lean texture and gamey undertone of the meat as a canvas for bold flavors and artistic presentation. In Canada, venison has become a favorite among artisanal charcuterie producers. Salami, smoked sausages, and cured loins are crafted in small batches, then paired with local wines and cheeses for a uniquely Canadian tasting experience. It's a mix of tradition and terroir, one that speaks to both heritage and innovation. Meanwhile, in New Zealand, smoked venison has become a festive delicacy, often served during public celebrations and seasonal gatherings. It's a meat that can go from elegant to rustic without losing its character. Adaptable, flavorful, and always just a little unexpected. And then there's Asia, where venison occupies a space that blends food with function. In China, it's often cooked slowly in medicinal broths alongside herbs like ginseng or goji berries, believed to enhance circulation and energy. In Vietnam, grilled venison skewers and venison hot pot have become special occasion dishes, especially during family reunions and festivals. In these cultures, eating venison is not just about taste, it's about nourishment, tradition, and connection to the body's needs. This growing popularity is backed by an equally thoughtful approach to sustainability. On many farms, bones and hides that once would have gone to waste are now repurposed. Bones are ground and processed into pet food, offering nutrient-dense meals for dogs and cats. Hides, instead of being discarded, are composted or transformed into organic fertilizers that return minerals to the soil, closing the loop between animal and earth in a cycle of renewal. Venison is no longer just a specialty meat. It's a symbol of how food can be ethical, functional, and deeply cultural. From Michelin-starred kitchens to quiet family dinners, from recovery diets to festive platters, the world is waking up to the flavor and the future of venison. Texas isn't just big in size, it's big in output, big in diversity, and big in ambition. With over 127 million acres of farmland stretching across plains, hills, and valleys, Texas is a force in global agriculture. Its annual output surpasses $24 billion, making it not only a state of cowboys and cattle, but one of the most critical food-producing regions in the world. Let's start with what many people already associate with the Lone Star State, beef. In 2024, Texas recorded a cattle population of over 12 million head, accounting for about 15% of the entire U.S. beef supply. But the way cattle are managed here is anything but ordinary. At places like the King Ranch, one of the largest ranches in the world, home to more than 35,000 cattle, modern ranching is a seamless blend of tradition and technology. Cowboys still ride on horseback, gathering and guiding livestock across thousands of acres. But now, they're supported by helicopters soaring above the pastures, helping locate herds, drive movement, and protect against predators. It's a daily choreography of muscle, instinct, and aviation that few other places on Earth can match. But Texas isn't just about beef. It's also the leading producer of goat meat in the United States, with over 820,000 goats thriving in dry, rocky landscapes like the Edwards Plateau, terrain perfectly suited for these hardy animals. Each week, between 10 and 12,000 goats are processed in federally inspected facilities, while many more are handled by small, local butchers. Goat meat has found a growing niche among health-conscious consumers and immigrant communities. And Texas is feeding that demand with speed and scale. And let's not overlook the dairy side of the goat economy. Across the state, nearly 28,000 dairy goats are producing between 3 and 5 million pounds of milk annually. It's not just a matter of volume. Goat milk is valued for its richer nutritional profile and digestibility, often commanding higher prices than traditional cow's milk in premium markets. Peanuts may seem humble, but in Texas, they're serious business. The state ranks second in the nation for peanut production, harvesting around 385 million pounds each year. That's enough to make tens of millions of jars of peanut butter, many of which end up on school lunch trays and grocery store shelves across the country. And because Texas can grow peanuts in both the high plains and southern regions, its harvest season is long and steady. What really sets Texas apart, though, is its ability to grow cool season vegetables like lettuce and cabbage during the winter months. While northern states are buried under snow, the Rio Grande Valley stays productive. That makes Texas a vital backup to the national supply chain, ensuring fresh produce keeps flowing even in the dead of winter. Then there's cotton, the crown jewel of Texas agriculture. The state produces a staggering 42% of the nation's cotton, most of it from the high plains around Lubbock. In a single year, Texas farms can yield as many as 7.5 million bales. After harvest, the cotton is compressed into enormous modules, sent to gins for cleaning, and eventually spun into fabric used around the globe. But even in a land where tradition runs deep, innovation is pushing the frontier. Greenhouse agriculture has exploded, with tomatoes, berries, and peppers now being grown under controlled conditions across the state. This shift has turned into a billion-dollar sector, one that uses less water, reduces pesticide use, and significantly cuts emissions. With water scarcity and climate change looming, greenhouse farms are Texas's answer to the future. Efficient, scalable, and sustainable. In every corner of its vast landscape, Texas is proving that modern agriculture can be both a nod to the past and a bold step toward what comes next. Behind every slice of venison or capsule of velvet antler extract lies a world of precision, speed, and science. In today's global food system, quality alone isn't enough. Freshness must be preserved, safety guaranteed, and logistics executed with near perfection. That's where advanced processing and preservation come into play, turning farm-raised deer into high-value exports that travel thousands of miles while maintaining peak quality. Take Canada, for example, a country that's become a leader in large-scale, high-tech venison processing. Each year, modern Canadian facilities handle over 5,000 deer, transforming them into enough venison to make approximately 16 million burgers. The real innovation, however, lies in the way the meat is preserved. Using ultra-freezing technology, processors bring the temperature down to -40 degrees Fahrenheit within hours of butchering. At that level, freshness is locked in, bacterial growth is halted, and shelf life can extend up to 12 months without compromising flavor or texture. This method allows Canadian venison to reach over 50 countries, serving everything from gourmet restaurants in Europe to health-conscious home cooks in Asia. While meat moves through the cold chain, another side of the deer industry undergoes a very different kind of processing. Velvet antlers, harvested in their nutrient-rich stage, require careful drying and packaging to retain their medicinal properties. China dominates this space, producing around 70% of the world's velvet antler supply. Much of it comes from the northeastern province of Heilongjiang, where large-scale farms have streamlined the entire cycle, from ethical harvesting to final packaging. Timing is everything. The antlers are typically harvested in spring, when they've reached their optimal length of 25 to 30 centimeters, about the size of a standard wine bottle. Once removed, the velvet is immediately chilled, then transferred to specialized facilities where it's dried using low-temperature methods that preserve the bioactive compounds. After drying, the pieces are sorted, vacuum-packed, and labeled for export. Major destinations include South Korea, Japan, and of course the domestic market in China, where velvet antler is a key ingredient in traditional medicine and modern supplements alike. What's driving all this demand? In part, it's the global shift toward wellness, sustainability, and protein diversification. As more consumers turn away from heavily processed meats and seek leaner, more functional alternatives, venison and velvet antlers are stepping into the spotlight. They're not just seen as luxury items anymore. They're recognized as high-performance foods with cultural, nutritional, and environmental value. That cultural relevance gives deer-based products an added layer of appeal. In Japan, velvet antler supplements are associated with vitality and longevity. In South Korea, they're used to boost stamina and immune health. And in Western markets, venison is marketed as clean, lean, and gourmet. It's this intersection of tradition, science, and global trends that has turned a once niche product into an international commodity. From Canadian freezers to Chinese drying rooms, the journey of deer products is one of transformation. Technology enables scale, but it's the care at every step, the respect for freshness, function, and cultural fit that makes this industry truly global. Deer farming stands at a rare intersection in agriculture, where tradition meets technology, and where ethical care drives economic value. It's a system built not just on efficiency, but on a deep respect for the animal, the land, and the science behind growth and health. Every aspect, from breed selection to processing, reflects a larger movement, one that asks not only how we feed the world, but how we do it responsibly. Venison and velvet antlers have moved far beyond the realm of specialty products. Today, they symbolize a broader shift in global agriculture toward leaner proteins, functional nutrition, and regenerative practices. They are proof that innovation doesn't have to come at the expense of heritage, and that scale can coexist with care. What we're seeing is more than a trend, it's a redefinition of what food can be. And it raises some important questions. Could deer farming become a new pillar in the global protein supply? Are we looking at the next mainstream meat? And perhaps more urgently, how do we maintain a balance between ethical treatment and technological advancement in animal agriculture? These are the kinds of questions that deserve conversation, not just observation. So what do you think? Would you welcome venison into your weekly meals? Do you believe velvet antler supplements should be part of modern wellness? How far should we go in transforming traditional farming? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Like this video if you learned something new, leave a comment with your perspective, and don't forget to subscribe for more in-depth explorations of food, technology, and the systems shaping our future. Share this video with others who care about what's on their plate and where it really comes from.